Hey guys, down here tonight to go over in detail all of the new radio wheel adapters that I've come up with. Now, more will be coming in the future, and to find out which ones are available, go to my website or go to the Facebook page. The website is harleydesigns.com, and you'll be able to find the link to the wheel adapters in the top right corner. Also, check out the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/harleydesigns, for all kinds of the regular updates and little things like that, as far as pictures and a good way to get a hold of me. Like I said, I do plan on expanding the amount of radios that I'm actually showing here. I do plan to do the Traxxas radio for sure, hopefully an Airtronics MT4, and beyond that we'll just see what kind of comes around. I'm not going to do them for every radio just because unless there's enough demand for it, the design time I'm just not going to put into it. But I want to get right into the wheel adapters that I've already got available now and kind of show you how they go on and the difference between them, as well as some of the details about the installation and what wheels and things like that that you can use. For the Futaba radios, all of the Futaba radios use the same adapter. So far I've tested this on the 4PL line, including the 4PLS, the 3PMX, the 4PK, the 4PKS, and SR. So all of the Futabas use one style adapter. Now, after saying that, I have two adapters for the Futabas, just like for most. For the two adapters, one is to use a Vanquish Products 1.9 wheel, and one is for a standard 12mm hex style wheel. Now, I did that so that you could use a number of different wheels. However, I based the design and the offset off of an Axial 1.9 wheel. This is one of the stock wheels that would come on like the Jeep Wrangler RTR. So that just gives you a baseline of what wheels to use. I'll have actual offset information and everything listed on the web page so that you can double check whatever wheels you would like to use against this Axial wheel. Pretty easy to measure. All you'll need is a set of calipers or something that you can take a simple measurement of the back spacing of the wheel off of. Like I said, the two different styles, both of them are very simple to install. All you do is you take the wheel off of your radio. The Futabas are very simple. The thread is the screw is exposed, and you simply use a 2.5mm wrench to take that wheel off, and everything pulls right off. Pretty straightforward as far as that goes. Then you just take the adapter and pop it on. Pretty straightforward. May take a little bit of force the very first time you pop it on. Pretty much, there's nothing else to it though. If you need to do any sanding or trimming or anything like that, it's pretty simple and you're not really going to hurt them. These are pretty a low stress part in general. Now, when using the SLW wheel, you can just simply line that up on with one of the 6 available bolt holes in the SLW, as well as the corresponding holes on the adapter, and screw it on. But after installing those, you'll simply take and reinstall the center bolt that holds on the wheel, and that's all that there's going to be to installing one of these on a Futaba. Pretty simple little install and a pretty drastic change in appearance. So that's all there is to the SLW style. Now I'm going to take that back off and we're going to go over the 12mm hex style, which is a little bit different than this one. So the 12mm hex style, you want to put the larger flat side of it down, leaving the hex portion pointing upwards. So press it down onto there. Again, it may take a little bit of force. And then like I said, I am using the Axial 1.9 glue-on style wheel as a reference as far as what this was designed after. Now, you can use, as a note, the stock foam that comes on the radio and simply stretch it over the wheel. But after that, you'll simply line up the 12mm hex with the adapter, and then you're going to take that stock screw that held the wheel on and you're going to use that to secure the whole thing down. There's no extra steps like was used on the Vanquish wheel to use those hub bolts. Now, that stock piece of hardware will kind of go down into the center of an Axial wheel, but it still holds on pretty tight. If you wanted to, you can throw a simple 3mm washer on there. Not really necessary though, as these do hold on there pretty well. So after that, it can take, and it just changes the appearance of your radio a little bit. Nothing crazy, but it is something different, and maybe you'll be able to tell the difference between your radio and a friend's radio. Next up on the list, I'm going to go over the stock Axial radio. Now this radio, as well as the FlySky GT3B, use the same adapter. Now for these radios, since they are a more basic radio or baseline or cheaper radio, I only did the 12mm style adapter. Unless there's a big demand for the VP style adapter for these radios, I didn't want to waste the time to do them yet. Simply remove the screw out of the center of the wheel. Now with the Axial or the FlySky, you may have to pop off or pop up a little cap. You can do that with like a razor blade or a small pick. They kind of look hidden, but they actually come up pretty easily. After that, simply take that adapter and line up that key spot again, and then just press it on. Now, again, these are very simple and don't require any extra steps beyond installing the wheel and then reinstalling that stock piece of hardware. Now with this one, I've minimized the amount of offset I can get with the adapter. However, there's still a gap behind the backside of the wheel and the radio. There's not much I can do with that with the stock Axial wheel. However, if you are looking at other wheels, this does open up a few more options, such as using a more narrow offset drift wheel or something like that. With that wheel, you get almost no space between the backside of the radio and the wheel, which is a nice clean look and is what I normally would go for. And again, repeating the exact same steps with the FlySky gives you the exact same result. If you do ever get a wheel that is a little bit sticky on return or anything like that, simply back out that screw that holds your wheel on like 1/4 to 1/8 of a turn, and it should free everything right back up. Sometimes everything just cinches down a little bit too tight and can make things a little bit sticky. Now, last up for tonight are going to be the Spektrum radios. Here I've got two different Spektrum radios, the DX3R and the DX3E. Now these two both use a different adapter. Now they're not, I wish it was like the Futaba radios where I could use one adapter for all of theirs, but I didn't get so lucky. Again, with both of these, you have to pop out the center cap of that stock wheel, get down there and use a small Phillips head screwdriver on the Spektrum radios to remove that wheel. Now, first up with the Spektrum DX3E here. Again, I've done two separate adapters, one for the Vanquish SLW style hex wheel and one for a 12mm. Now, the only issue that arises here is if you use a 12mm style adapter and you have a wheel that has a thicker face or something like that, you may have to find a new piece of Phillips head hardware. Simply because this one, you have to space the wheel off a little bit further from the actual end of the adapter here to get enough clearance, and because of that, it can actually require just a few more threads. However, if I install my stock Axial wheel like I've used in the previous examples, the stock hardware has enough length to get 5 or 6 turns out of that, which is probably plenty to hold this simple wheel on. Now, due to the design of the steering stops on the DX3E, I can't, again, slam the backside of that 1.9 wheel all the way against the face of the radio like I would like. So with this one, I've got somewhere around 3mm of space between the backside of the wheel and the radio face. Now again, this does give you options as far as being able to use wheels with more back spacing, again, like some of the drift wheels that I've got around here in the shop. Installing those, I end up with a finish that is much closer to 1 to 0.5mm of offset between the wheel and the backside of the radio. For the Spektrum DX3R, with the VP SLW style hub, simply press on the hub and install the stock piece of hardware. And then you have nothing left except to bolt on your Vanquish 1.9. And that's all there is to installing the Vanquish version on your DX3R. Now, when installing the 12mm style hex onto your Spektrum DX3R here, you will likely run into one issue. When installing a wheel such as the stock Axial, the screw that comes with the DX3R to hold the radio on is very tiny. With this, you'll likely have to find a new piece of hardware. This one is a little too short to work with even this style wheel. So that's all there is to installing the adapters for all the radios that I have here on hand. If there's anything else you guys would like to see, head over to the Facebook page or comment below. So that's all there is to this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.